Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Welcome to today's episode of As You Are. I'm Alexa.
I'm Andrea.
And
Loki! I was like, do you forget your line? Because I forgot it too.
So today we're going to talk about meditation. So excited about it. I wanted to start by saying that we did an Instagram poll
Oh, yeah.
about the meditation, and we got, I think, 7 replies, 2 of which were our replies.
No, we got 9.
We got 9?
Mm-hmm.
So the question was,
Do you meditate? And there were 3 answers. Yes, sometimes, and not really. And majority of them voted, sometimes wish I did it more.
then I wanted to ask you how often you meditate.
Well, I was telling you a while back that I used to meditate a lot. Not every single day, but almost every single day for like a full year. And it changed me so much.
Mm-hmm.
Then life gets in the way sometimes, and I got so busy with work and going to bed late. Because something I like, and I've noticed that it works best for me, is meditating in the morning. I prefer it a lot better than meditating at night.
Mm-hmm.
Which is preference for everyone, but I think for me it works best in the morning. So for that, I need to wake up earlier because you don't want to be rushing doing that. So that would mean 30-45 minutes earlier than I would normally wake up. And if I go to bed later than usual, then I'll like, oh, well, I'll meditate later today. Or like, you just push it.
Yeah, you push it.
And I completely stopped for a year, a year and a half. And then recently, I felt I needed to go back into it. For the past 2.5 months, I've been trying to do it from Monday to Friday at least. And then in the weekends, if I feel like it, I'll do it. But from Monday to Friday, I feel that my routine helps a lot. I wake up at the same time, I meditate, I journal, I stretch, I work out, and then I have my day ready. So I have that routine, that time especially allocated to meditation, which has helped me. And that has been the only way that I could be doing it from Monday to Friday.
For me right now, it's actually the same. I try and meditate mornings, Monday through Friday, and then the weekends.
If you feel like it.
Yeah, maybe there's a day that I feel, sometimes in the middle of the day, I'm like, I really need to meditate, and I'll just meditate.
You feel it, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference?
The time?
The time of the day?
For sure in the morning. I also agree that if you give yourself a time frame, and that's even if you don't meditate, just self-care in general, I think it's so important to have self-care as part of your morning routine and not just wake up and start your day right away, because it's just that moment that you get to connect with yourself, and I think it's so important. And it's really helpful to just have that time where you know you don't need your phone. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world right now. It does not matter. You just leave all of that and you just focus on your workout, journaling, meditating.
Yeah, no, I agree, because sometimes you wake up and go. In the year and a half that I didn't meditate, I would literally wake up, get ready, work out, have breakfast, and go to the office, and then immediately like sit on my desk, work on my computer all day long, and then go back. And it's like you don't have time to think, actually.
Yeah, I mean, when I was working with you, being in the corporate world, it's very hard.
It's literally wake up and go. It's like automatic mode.
Like you barely have, no, like just if you shower in the morning, eat something. I really realized that in my healthcare journey, it's been a lot of planning.
Yes.
You have to plan.
Yes.
You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna meditate.
No.
And expect yourself to meditate every day. It's just not.
Yeah, that's
you have to plan.
At least for food, for example, you need to plan ahead. At least the day before, you need to know what you're eating. For everything, honestly, if you want to work out and you have a 9 to 5, you need to be like, okay, if I'm planning to work out before work, I need to wake up at this time.
That reminds me of what we describe our logo to be, which is a balance between form and freedom.
Yes.
What my experience with meditation has been is you have to be strict with yourself to a certain extent, but then where I was really able to connect with meditation is to allow it to be free flowing and to not be so perfect about it while I'm meditating. So it's like you have to structure a moment for yourself where you get to be free, and then in that moment of freedom, you're just free.
Yes.
No worries. Just
I like that, because you for sure need structure, but at the same time you need to be conscious with yourself and be like, if I don't feel like doing that today, you can perfectly not do it, but being able to have that choice, not being like,
oh, it's written on the calendars, I have to do it. It's like, no.
Or if I didn't plan ahead, it's like, oops, I didn't do it. No, it's like, it's there, but feel free to make the choice in the moment. Like, okay, yeah, I feel like meditating today, or not, or working out or not, or.
Yes. Where I think it can get a little challenging, at least for me in the beginning, I really struggled to understand what was my inner voice telling me I need a break and what was my lazy self telling me.
Yeah, there's a fine line in between that, which also it's a good point to talk about. And also I feel that when we're not too connected with yourself, you don't get to find that difference in between the voices. So it's like, okay,
exactly.
Maybe it's like me being lazy, or it's me actually needing a break, or needing like some sort of like wiggle room to feel differently. And that's something that I feel meditations helps a lot with.
That's crazy, because it's exactly what my experience has been.
Yeah.
Exactly,
yeah.
Because I really could not tell the difference between these two voices. And until I started meditating, then I'm like, no, that's actually, like, I really need a break. It's not me being lazy or whatever. You start being able to tell the difference between the two voices.
Yeah.
So the first time that I got really exposed to meditation, I want to say it was in 2021. The way that I started was just on these apps or on YouTube where you can listen to a guided meditation. But I never connected to the idea of trying to shut my thoughts off and try and imagine a river in the middle of a forest and try and imagine that the world is perfect and green. Like, that never worked for me. And I thought that maybe I just can't meditate.
Not for you.
Maybe meditation is just not for me. That has totally changed for me. And now I've found a way that works for me. But I wanted to ask you what your first experiences with meditations were, and if there was ever a moment where you felt like it wasn't for you. And
oh yeah, definitely. In the beginning, I started the same with apps. There's an app that is for free that you can download.
Is it Insight?
Insight Timer.
Yes,
I still use that app.
Timer.
It's like a free app where it has so many options. It has like a membership type of meditations as well, but I use the free version and it has worked perfectly. So I started with that and Headspace. I did like the free trial for Headspace, which I really liked.
I think Headspace also had something on Netflix, right?
Probably. Recently, I think I've seen something about it, but I started using it, and it has like two parts. The first one is like 60 seconds and it tells you to breathe. So there's like the orange circle, which is like their logo, and it expands when you have to breathe, and it contracts when you have to breathe out. And I really like that because breathing is also super important, which I didn't know or never practice it. So that helped me connect with my breath. So I think the first part, it's like 60 seconds. So you do that, and I really connected with that immediately. But then the meditation part, it was so hard for me in the beginning because I internalize a lot of things and I think a lot. I wouldn't say overthinker, but I just try to think why I feel certain things, or like try to connect with myself in a way, but really didn't know how. But when I started meditating, and it was a guided meditation, it would talk about the river or like trying to like guide you in a way. And it was so hard for me, first of all, to focus. I was thinking on so many other things besides the meditation. So I was like, okay, this is either not for me, I'm not doing something right, because it's like, why am I so off topic of like, this guy is talking about a river and I'm thinking about
and then
like
you get
dinner.
lost. It's like, he's like, shoots, where am I? Where are we? What are we talking about again?
And then when you go back into the meditation, it's like he's talking about now the forest, and you're like, when did we go from the river to the forest? And then I started to like be so overwhelmed in a way because I thought it was so hard for me to focus. So then I started to listen about other people's experiences, and they were all saying the same thing. But all of them said, keep trying, because it's gonna get better. It's like that for everyone in the beginning, because people are not used to being in silence or being in control with their thoughts.
Yes. And on that, sorry, I'm gonna cut you for a second,
No,
but I remember what you were saying.
I forgot. No, I'm kidding.
No. Like, no. Your face. Remember? Are you remembering?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. What I wanted to say, because it's related to what you're saying, is that the way that I see meditation, it's like exercise. When you first start exercising, you can't expect for you to be lifting heavy weights and all of that. It's like, no, it's a process. It's your body's gonna ache in the first few weeks. It's a process, and it's the same thing.
It's uncomfortable in the beginning.
It's very uncomfortable, and you feel very incompetent.
It's like it sounds so simple, but at the same time, it's so complex when you're doing it.
Yes, I feel the generations that are coming, more adults are teaching their kids how to meditate. But for us, and I assume for most people our age, it's not really something that we were taught when we were little at all.
No, not at all.
And so it doesn't come naturally to us.
No.
But I think that it should be as important as exercise.
No, yeah, I totally agree, because after I tried it so many times, listening to guided meditations and going back and forth with my thoughts back to the meditation, I noticed that my thoughts weren't popping up as often as they used to. So in my personal experience, guided meditations has helped me think about something besides my thoughts, but at the same time, I'm able to relate it to my inner self in a way. So I relate whatever they're saying to what I'm feeling in that moment, but thanks to their help.
Okay.
If I'm explaining myself.
So do you ever meditate without guided?
No, what I do in this app, you can do check-ins. So
an Insight Timer or Headspace?
Insight Timer. I wake up and the first thing I do is open the app and literally whatever I'm feeling, I do the check-in and it tells you, it has some options. Sad, happy, stressed, anxious, and you just put whatever you're feeling, and then it suggests different meditations. So you get to pick. So I flip through the title.
Do you have favorite ones that you go back to?
I have saved ones, like a few, honestly, not that many, but a few that are like super powerful. But I flip through the options that they give me, and then I choose the one that speaks the most to me. So usually it really relates to what I'm feeling because I do the check-in first. And thanks to that, it has helped me, I don't know, get into the habit and get more comfortable with meditating itself. And after a while, I've gotten better with the unrelated thoughts to go away, and then the related thoughts to that meditation to get in. But I've heard that a lot of people do not guided meditations, which I don't know if that's the one that you do.
Yeah, for me, I'll back up a little bit and say that where I really connected with meditation was with Lotus Becker. I mentioned to her, I've mentioned her before.
How do you say it?
I mentioned her before. I think a lot of my health journey really was inspired a lot by her and by a couple of friends that I had that lived in Miami. One of them being Christelle, that I talk to you about often. So one of the meditations that she did was body scan. Have you ever done those? It's like where you imagine, okay, now you're in your head, then feel your eyes, feel your nose, feel your mouth, feel your shoulders, and it goes down from the arms and all the way to the tip of your toes. And that I really connected with. I was like, wow, that, especially before going to bed, it really allowed me to relax. Okay. And I remember at some point early on when I was trying to meditate, same like you, I would think a lot. So it even would be hard for me to keep my eyes closed. My eyes would open because I was thinking so much that my eyes naturally opened.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I would be scared to close my eyes for too long. I can't even explain why.
No, I can see that feeling.
But when I meditate and it's not guided, usually I get into this state where I feel like I'm spiraling. If I could stay with no thoughts for a while, then it's like a switch, and then I feel myself, I don't know, my energy spiral. I'm not, no. I don't feel like I'm levitating, but I feel like I'm spiraling. I don't really know how to explain it.
But in a good way?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel, to me, it just feels like I've finally let go.
So you don't have any thoughts? Well,
I don't have any thoughts at all. And then when a thought pops up, then I stop.
Do you put music, or is it like just a timer?
Well, it depends, because now I've done this program on Mindvalley with Jeffrey Allen. I started, I think it was December last year. And I don't want to be dramatic, but it really changed my life.
Wow.
really changed my life. Well, when I was thinking about the topic of meditation, I realized that it's really hard to categorize meditation into one box and not consider it with other things, because I think a part of what also changed my life is my faith. I had mentioned that to you, that I've felt recently a very big connection to God. That combined with meditation, combined with journaling, combined with practice of gratitude daily, combined with exercise, it just made me to change my life.
Yeah, you made a big change in your life recently as well, with nutrition, fitness, yoga, meditation.
I feel like I'm coming more and more into like
you're putting yourself first in a way. Yes. I feel that you have taken like a step back and being like, okay, wait, what do I actually want to do? And then that's when you started doing all these changes.
Yes. And you know what's crazy about it is the more that I put myself first, the more I understand other people better, and the better my relationships with other people have been. So if someone does not meditate and wants to understand, why should I meditate? My answer to them would be that, to me, meditation is a tool to help organize my thoughts and emotions. And it's a tool for me to better understand myself and to not be a victim of my thoughts or a victim of my life.
I completely agree with all the points that you made, because I didn't notice it while I was doing it. I noticed it after months of meditating, that I'm so much more connected with myself, even though initially I just felt that I wanted to try it the very first time that I started meditating, but it wasn't something that, oh, I feel that I'm not connected with myself or that I'm lost within myself, whatever. I was just like, just let me try it and curious. And after I did it for a few months, I started noticing that my thoughts are more organized in a way. For some reason, I'm not all over the place. My thoughts are straight. So in some way, I know more what I want and what I don't want. But without being too conscious about it, I was like, I'm a lot more clear. Out of nowhere, I'm like, I know what I'm feeling or what I want or what I don't want for some reason. And I didn't notice that until I stopped. Also, I was like, okay, I feel now so much more overwhelmed than I used to. That's why recently I wanted to get back into it. I was like, okay, maybe that was something that helped me organize my thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's something that I wanted to add to.
Yeah, and I like what you said about that you didn't necessarily have a problem, particularly when you started getting interested into meditation. So for people who want to get into it, you don't have to be lost, or it's not like
it doesn't need to be something bad.
It's just good hygiene to meditate and just to process your thoughts.
It's what you were saying. It's like, it's as important as working out, it's as important as eating right. It's just like one step closer to being just better.
Yeah. Another part where I feel I was able to really grow with meditation is when I stopped expecting something specific to happen. It's not an end goal. Meditation is not an end goal, and it's not something that I do on the mat or on my bed or on my couch and then leave it, and then the rest of my day starts and I forget about everything. For me, where I'm at with meditation now is trying to use that energy of peace and calm that I have during my meditation and trying to take it with me the rest of the day. Because it's very easy for you to be in that state of peace and meditation. You get up from your mat, you go shower, you're in traffic.
Yeah, and then you're rushing to work, and then you're at work, and then you're like meetings, working.
And it's so easy to forget. So I think part of meditation is remembering, honestly. Just remembering to be present.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Trying to keep that state throughout the entire day. Yes. And also throughout the entire day and throughout your actions too. It's like, just keep that thoughts throughout the day. That's a good point.
Working at the office, I felt that some days I would even forget certain things. Sometimes I would forget, did I brush my teeth? Or did I lock the door?
That happens to me, yeah.
I would forget things. And that's just an example of not being present in your body and in your environment.
You're just being automatic.
And so what I started doing that helped me a lot. So even if you don't meditate on a regular basis, what you can do to help make yourself more present and aware, I started narrating what I was doing.
Yes, girl, I do the same thing. Because that's been happening to me so much lately because of work. It's been a lot recently. And, you know, work is a big part of your life. So I was just overwhelmed with work. And I started forgetting things. It's like, did I close the door? The other end, did I put the other end? Because it's like, after I shower, I have like, you know, typical steps. The other end, hair oil, SPF.
And it's like in the middle of it, then you wake up and you're like, wait.
Yeah. Sometimes
you have to like smell yourself or touch.
Girl,
like,
I've forgotten. Imagine how crazy like my thoughts are, that sometimes I put the deodorant on one arm, but I didn't put on the other. That's true story. That had happened to me like 3 times. I'm like, girl, like, how do you like not
like you need to be more awake?
Yeah.
I would judge myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's another part of meditation too, is letting go of self-judgment.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, narrating what you're doing, has that helped you?
Yeah, honestly. Or also in the moment, instead of cooking, making breakfast and thinking about something else, it's just like, I'm cooking like scrambled eggs, like just being present and just thinking through what I'm doing, just because otherwise I'm just thinking about so many other things and I'm doing everything else automatic.
Yes.
So I have the same breakfast every single day, so it's pretty automatic at this point, regardless, but it's still, I just want to be present, because otherwise I don't remember what I'm doing.
Yes.
It's just like remembering to be present.
I'm telling you, I've realized more and more meditation is about remembering, remembering to be here. It's not easy to remember to be present. It's really not. You don't always have to bring yourself back. So for me, I would say, okay, I'm brushing my teeth now. Okay, I'm locking the door now. Like, hello, you're here.
Yeah, and also sometimes that I've noticed recently that I've become so rushed in life. I'm rushing everywhere. I'm having breakfast and it's like, okay, I'm having breakfast in 5 minutes. Then I'm washing the dishes. I'm like, rushed. Then I shower and it's like shampoo, conditioner. It's like I'm rushed. And it's like, why am I rushing? Like, of course, I'm late for work. I need to be there at 9, let's say. But it's like, why do I need to be rushed in everything that I do? So I've tried to step back a little bit and be like, chill. Let's just have breakfast. Just like chew 5 times more in every bite.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay. It's okay.
And I've read a lot about it recently. Your nervous system gets stressed out just because you're rushed all the time.
You're telling your body like, something's wrong, like we have to go
it's
fast.
Like you're picking fight mode all the time. So you're rushed all the time, you're stressed all the time, and then you're rushing everywhere. And you're not present in the moment. You don't take your time. You're like that for days straight, weeks straight, months straight.
So I transitioned from being at the office to stressed all the time, always being rushed, transitioned into being very peaceful. Why? I decided that the stress of the office was not mine to carry. And that just gave me so much freedom to just be like, if it gets done, it gets done. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. And it's not on me to carry that weight.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because we get so caught up in work, which is a big part of our lives, and it takes a toll on you after a while.
Yes. If there's anyone listening to this that's feeling very overwhelmed by their work, just try and disassociate the stress that comes with work as being a part of you, because if not, you'll take it on into your personal life.
Yeah.
And it might stop you from sleeping well. It might stop you from having good sex. It might stop you from being able to keep up with relationships in your life, friends, family.
Yeah, have a normal conversation with someone, like just being present, as we were talking about, just not being rushed.
I feel meditation can help them in that regard, and to be more present in their life is just to be able to process each day and start every morning with an intention. And that was also very big for me when I was working corporate, to set an intention for myself. Why are you going to work? Why? Yes, you have to make money, you have to make a living, but why? For me, it was, I love being with my coworkers. I love having lunch with them. I love learning and growing. Set your intention. Why are you doing it? No one's forcing you to be at work right now.
Yeah, or no one's forcing you to be at that specific job.
So why are you at that specific job? And to not allow yourself to be either a victim of your situation, in terms of, if there's something that you're not really liking about the momentum that you're in, if you feel it's all very negative and spiraling into something that's overwhelming, meditation has allowed me to understand that I actually have a say in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can just like literally take yourself out of that negativity and being like, okay, that's part of the job, but I'm taking myself out, and you're choosing not letting that affect your state of mind and well-being.
Yes. I just want to say too that meditation is not a state that you achieve and you stay there. It's something that you have to constantly work on all the time. I think it was Jeffrey Allen that said, or someone else that said, you can't expect to take a really good shower once in your life and never have to shower ever again. It's the same thing as meditation. You can't expect to have that one good meditation and then you're good for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hygiene. It's just a constant check-in that you have to do with your mind.
Yeah.
So basically when I go into meditation, I just sit straight and I obviously close my eyes and I imagine myself growing roots from my tailbone, which is my root chakra, down onto the ground. And so that really makes me feel safe. Root chakra is associated with safety, and it's blocked by fear. So if ever you're feeling fearful, then you might not feel very grounded and you might be scared. So that when I was telling you that at some point I couldn't really close my eyes and feel safe in meditation, I think I was not grounded at that time.
Okay.
And then I imagine myself shutting off my thinking mind, like literally like a switch on off thing, telling your thoughts, it's okay, I don't need you right now. Like there's a part where you're needed, but in this part you're not needed. So kindly telling my thoughts to slow down.
Okay.
And I really feel the shift of like, okay, now my mind is closing. From there, I do different things. Certain days I do a body scan. Other days I think about my chakras. It really depends on what I need to work on. Same way as you setting your
like
check-ins for that day. And meditation looks different for me every time. Some days it's so easy. I have no thoughts in my mind.
Oh yeah.
It's easy. And then other days,
my
thoughts are coming for me, and they're just coming and coming and coming.
Yeah, it's like some days you just wake up happier, some days you wake up more anxious, and for me, those days are like the ones that are so hard for me to focus. If I have something coming up that's stressing me out, I'll feel it, and it affects you, honestly, every way. And of course, in meditation, you can really tell when you're like off. You're not thinking straight. You're thinking about so many other things besides what you're actually supposed to. And meditation, it's like a check-in with yourself as well.
So that's also another thing, part of being more aware of yourself. You have that. If you didn't take that time to meditate, then you might not realize to what extent your mind is going crazy. And you might not realize to what extent sometimes your mind can be at ease.
And it lets you understand where your mind is at that day or that week or that moment.
Some days I feel my mind is so chaotic that, like I said, I can't keep my eyes closed.
Sometimes the meditation could be 15 minutes and I'm 10 minutes in and I've noticed that I have not heard one word that the guy has said. And I'm like, that's not good.
And you know what? When that happens, sometimes it's okay to just stop the meditation and just get back to it later. It's okay.
Yeah, what I've done is my routine basically it follows with journaling. So whenever that happens, I'm like, just let me write it down.
You know, that's a good point, because I was gonna say that when my mind is too chaotic, sometimes what helps me is journaling and then meditating. So you should try that.
I should try that actually, yeah.
Well, the way I see it, it's your brain telling you, but I have so much to say. I want to tell you this and I want to tell you that and I want to tell you this and I want to tell you that. It's like, okay,
that's a good point.
So let's go journal about it.
Yeah, it's like take it out first.
Let it out. Now get back to it and let it go.
Yes, that's a good point actually. Yeah, I've never done that the other way. I always start with meditation because in my head I was like, okay, that would clear my mind, organize my thoughts, and then I'm ready to write them down. But actually I should try the opposite. Like when I feel too overwhelmed, maybe I just can write everything down and then come clean to the meditation basically. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because when I do it, you should try it. And then when you do it, just actively say to yourself in your meditation to let go of whatever you just wrote. Whatever I wrote doesn't belong to me anymore. It's out into the world and I can let it go. So that's something that meditation has done a lot for me, is letting go. And part of the program, he basically calls it a spring cleaning, where spring cleaning.
Okay.
You know when spring cleaning?
Yeah.
It's like you clean everything around your house. And basically he had me do that for my mind, and it was so helpful. You imagine yourself in the middle of your mind. Imagine as if you have files all around you, shelves, and at least that's what I imagined. And then something in the center where you can throw everything out in the trash, anything that doesn't belong. In the beginning of doing that, I saw a lot of clutter. I saw stuff all over the floor. At some point, I took a broom in the middle of the meditation.
Just clean this room a little bit.
Cleaning it out. Like,
mopping. You're like, sauce had so many things. That's so funny.
And I don't even know, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I just know that it's messy and I need to clean it. And certain things like, okay, keep what you feel like you need to keep and throw away what you feel like you don't. Okay. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I feel like I should keep this, put it on the shelf, and then this. And then I imagine in my mind a well in the middle of my head where I can take something I don't like or don't need, put it in there, and then it goes to the center of the earth. Like it doesn't belong to me anymore. Okay. And doing that has really, really helped me clear my thoughts a lot. And now whenever I go to the center of my head, it's so clean and it just feels really good. And other days I notice a couple things out of place. And so I fix it. But just to tell you that this is what I feel has worked for me, but it is definitely not what's going to work for someone else. It might not work for you.
Yeah, meditation, we can tell from our experiences that meditation that you like, it's different from what I like, and what has served me hasn't served you necessarily. So meditation is so different and so individual for everyone. That if you feel that something didn't work for you, you can just go ahead and try something else. Guided, not guided, journal first, journal afterwards, or don't journal at all, but meditate. Or if it works for you, meditate on your car while you're showering, maybe. I don't know, whatever works for you. For me, it works on my bed, but for some people, it might work on the car. Fine.
That's a good point, because sometimes there's a lot of pressure as to you have to meditate. That means that you have to be in a quiet room in the dark. Sound bowls have to be going, and it has to be a whole ceremony. No, that's where I say that sometimes the word meditation and manifestation have been used so much to a point where I feel it's been put on a pedestal as something you have to achieve, but it's not something you'll ever achieve. It's just a way of life. For me, I see it as a way of just being present, because you also have to think about who you are and what does meditation represent to you today, because that's another part of reasons why someone might not be able to get benefits from meditation, is because of their beliefs about meditation. So ask yourself, when I think about meditation, what's the first thought that comes into my mind? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it something that I believe that I can do? So part of his program is limiting beliefs, and you have no idea how much just your thought about something can really hold you back from even getting any benefits from it at all. And you just automatically disassociate it with, oh, this is for this group of people. They can be crazy in their cuckoo land. They can be spiritual. They can be all they want. But me, that stuff doesn't work for me.
You just need to be open and let the judgment go, and be just like, try it with like unbiased eyes or unbiased feelings, and then just, if it actually you don't like it or it doesn't work for you, it's okay.
Then it's okay, and own it.
Exactly.
And something else might just be being more present throughout your day. That will benefit any human on this planet. Just try and be present. If you do not see yourself making the time in the morning, sitting and being quiet, fine. But throughout your day, just try and be as present as you can and narrate what you're doing, even down to the emotions that you're feeling. Something that really helped me at work as well was paying attention to the moment where I felt stress. And now I'm able to identify stress in my body so quickly, whereas I never necessarily knew how to catch it right then and there. Now, if ever I feel it could be just a thought that I'm having. And it could be about something very minimal, something that you would never think would cause you stress. Oh, I need to go to Trader Joe's. Sometimes even that little thought in your mind can cause I feel it as a line. It's like
and it can also affect any other part of your body. Sometimes when I feel stressed, I feel it in my digestive system. And I feel just like, it's not butterflies, but in the opposite way. It's like I feel something tense, and I feel it there.
That's interesting.
And I've been like that my whole life. That's something that I've noticed so much. It's like, it affects me in that area.
So when you're stressed, you feel it in your gut?
Yeah, it's like I feel something.
For me, I feel it in my heart.
Wow, yeah, it's different for everyone.
Wow.
But sometimes you think it's about something else. Since I feel it here, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I just ate something that it
and it's so
exists.
easy to brush it off.
Yeah, you're just not connected to it, and you just blame it as something else, and without connecting the dots and being like, okay, I'm just stressed about this presentation I've been feeling this way for the past 2 days leading up to the presentation, and it's like you're just stress about it without realizing how much it affects other parts of your body and your life. So I think that meditation also helps like narrow it down and be like, okay, I'm stressed, and then you, instead of blaming it on your gut or what you had for lunch, it's like, oh, I'm actually stressed, and you feel it on your body.
And I noticed that for myself. I don't know if it was like that for you. Whenever I would get these cues from my body, it was an automatic. My brain was like, nope, I'm not feeling you right now. Almost trying to avoid it completely. Or sometimes, and even still happens to me today, if I feel like an ache in my stomach, sometimes I'll just press it and say to my head like, leave, like not right now. If I'm working on it,
I don't have time for you.
Yeah, you just want to put it to the side.
Not today, not in the mood to.
Please, not today. So going back to what I was saying about if you don't feel like you can make the time to sit down and meditate with your eyes closed, meditation doesn't have to look like that. It could look like you actively being present on a daily basis and being more aware of what's going on in your body, identifying when you feel stressed.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Maybe we can talk about this on another episode, but as you were saying that you feel it on your heart or your chest, and I feel it on my gut, we store feelings and we store anxiety in our body. And if we don't release it, it's just gonna affect us afterwards in so many ways. We store in specific parts of our bodies, and I'm sure I store some feelings or experiences in some parts, and I know I store it in my head. I'm sure about it. No one has ever told me that, but I'm sure that's the reason. And it's just a way of releasing emotions and feelings and thoughts.
One thing that I wanted to say about meditation, and speaking about the topic of clearing my thoughts and putting stuff in the trash, it might help some people to think about it that way. It's helped me a lot. To me, meditation, if you compare it to a computer, is like closing tabs. It's like restarting your computer. It's necessary for the health of your computer. It's like taking the charger off of your laptop. You need to give it space to just shut off, close your tabs and all of that. And the topic of boundaries, which we'll get into probably in the next episode, I feel boundaries are kind of like, you know, the firewall that your computer comes with, like basically to protect you from viruses. I feel that's what boundaries are. And if you don't have good boundaries, then it's easy for viruses to come in. And some viruses are very obvious, where red things will start popping in and you're like, oh no, I have a virus. And other viruses are dormant. You don't even know they're on your computer until you do a diagnosis, and then there was a virus on your thing. So comparing it to that has helped me understand meditation in a different way.
Yeah, and I think it's a good analogy too. When you just closing the tabs, it's a way of closing a thought in your mind and just letting it go and be okay with the way it closed.
Or even bookmarking a tab. It's the same way as, okay, I would like to keep this one, so I'm going to bookmark it.
Exactly.
And then the rest I can close it.
Close it, yeah. And it's just like, that's what helps you think clearer.
So next episode will be about hormonal birth control. And then probably following that, we'll do another part two of meditation.
Yes.
Which in that one, I think we can dive deeper into boundaries and chakras.
I think boundaries is a good one because we both have struggled with that, and I know a lot of people struggle with setting boundaries and being able to say no and just putting yourself first in every decision that you make. So I think a lot of people would relate to that.
Yes. Also, limiting beliefs has really been a big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two are huge topics.
So part 2 meditation, we'll talk about boundaries and limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
All right.
Come here. You look uncomfortable. Ay, qué rico.
All right. So that's it for the day. Meditation part 1. If you like this episode, Please leave us a comment. We would love to help you out. If there's anything that we haven't covered today, let us know. If you have any questions about any parts of what we said, let us know. If there's something you would like for us to dive deeper into, let us know.
Or if you would just want to share what has worked for you or what hasn't worked for you, it's also, we would love to hear that. The only way that this podcast grows is if you share our content and subscribe.
So please don't be shy. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at As You Are Pod. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening.
We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye, Luca.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.